Hello, welcome to another geopolitics and international relations vlog. And in today's vlog, I am going to discuss the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken visit to Ukraine. This was a surprised and unexpected, unannounced visit that draws the attention of the global media about the United States supports to Ukraine, especially at the time when Volodymyr Zelenskyy has replaced his defense ministers. It's also important to mention Ukraine-Russia conflict. The war enters into the 19th months, and in these 19th months there are several ups and downs. We saw there is a lot of news around the world about different perspective, but currently we saw these weeks are very sensitive and very hard for the Ukrainian military, because we saw that the defense minister has been changed. There is a new defense minister. So according to the Western perspective, the countermeasures and the counteroffensive of Ukraine is not strong enough to combat and to counter the Russians' attack inside Ukraine. But the question arises here that how these strikes reached at this level, because when Ukraine started these strikes directly to the Moscow and the other Russian territories, the counter-offensive must be a tit for tat. So at this time, there is a frustration and anxiety inside Ukraine and the military. It's looked like from the news as published around the world that there is a frustration that Ukrainian military is demoralized on this kind of the psyops and the new strategies. The visit of the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken, in which he pledges $1 billion to support Ukraine, is have different perspective. The first perspective we saw here that Ukraine, with its new defense minister, is going to change the war strategy. They are going to be something like more aggressive in this new phenomena of the war, in which it's looked like this that the US is pushing Ukraine to do some more hard strikes. Of course, that could be more disaster. In that case, if Ukraine goes towards the further step towards more strikes inside Russia, that could be more counter-offensive, because the Russians have more experience, combat experience, as compared to the Ukrainian forces. The change of the defense ministers comes up with some new strategies that is sponsored and endorsed by Washington. And it's looked like this that the visit of the Antony Blinken is a moral and a symbolic support to the Volodymyr Zelenskyy to boost up and to give him more courage and power to combat in this 19 months war, in which hundreds of casualties has reported, and thousands of the Ukrainian people has been migrated from Ukraine to other countries. And the outcome of the war, that what the United States seems like wanted to do, is not as they were expected and they want to that Ukraine should do for the United States. So as the winter is approaching, and we saw that if the canvas of this war is going to be prolonged or it's went beyond the expectation, I think that it's looked like this that it would be hard for Ukraine to implement its new strategy that is sponsored by the Washington. So the new defense minister, how it's unfold, and it's going to be the according to the new myth and the war strategy of the Volodymyr Zelenskyy. Of course, the times will tell, but it's looked like this that under the crunch speculations and under the crunch news about the corruption scandal inside the Ukraine military, and especially the courage and the demoralizing news by the Ukrainian military, is quite discouraging for Ukraine to further give some strong kind of the combat experience in the current Russia-Ukraine war. On the other hand, we saw that Russia has getting more leverage, and they are getting more into the power scenario right now. On the other hand, when we saw the Russia, so their counter measures and their counter strikes on Ukraine seems like more effective, and it's going to be directly countering the Washington strategy inside Ukraine. So the change of the defense ministers seems like the failure of the US and the Western countries' war strategy on Ukraine. So the question here arises that will the visit of the Anthony Blinken will get and achieve the mission and the goals of the United States, that they will give the confidence and the power and the other all the support to Volodymyr Zelenskyy to combat the Moscow war strategies and initiative. So, of course, the times will tell that how this war further unfolds in the coming days and months, because winter is approaching and the combat and the war strategies, that's definitely change into the advent of the winter. So thank you very much for watching this geopolitics and international relations vlog, and you can visit my website and you can follow me on my social media handles. Thank you very much.